Hello everyone, this is Pedro from Pythalista with one more video. So today I'm gonna to show you how to build a Django application that simulates a ChatGPT. It's a ChatGPT clone. So obviously I'll try to do as quick as I can. I'm gonna share the code and then I can do other videos to go into the details of the application, but this is gonna to be just a very quickly, step by step, just copy and paste the code. It's not a code along, but you have an understanding of how ChatGPT works. So the main idea here is that ChatGPT is just an API. So you say something and then you get that text sent to an API and get a response. And also you can resend the context of your conversation to that same API, and then the reply of that conversation comes with a context. So, and then this application does this. And Django application is Django is a Python framework where you can develop like a pretty much a full stack application. It's more focused on the back end, but you can quickly integrate with a front end like HTML. And I'm using in this example HTMX, which is a way to make the front end much. You don't need to write a lot of JavaScript or almost zero. So in this code, I wrote maybe one function just to, because I'm not very good at HTMX. Anyway, so let's get started. So before I start, the prerequisites for this, if you wanted to follow along, obviously you have to have Python at least 3.9 installed on your computer. And then you need to have an API key for OpenAI. In my case, I have an OpenAI hosted in Azure, OpenAI API in Azure, and then you would need that endpoint and the key to make calls. I'll put a link in the description on how to set up that into the description, and then you can check out on Azure. All right, let's get started. Let me just close this. Okay, close this. Yep. All right. So I have here my OpenAI Studio, where I have my models deployments. So the way it works, you do a deployment, and then can you see that there's a name? I have a deployment for ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 35. And then I developed an app where you can have a configuration file or environment file where you can point to ChatGPT 4 or 35 or 3.5. All right, so the code is here. So let's open a terminal, and it's gonna be pretty much copy and paste. So I'm just gonna create a directory called, I'm gonna call Django ChatGPT clone, okay? And then let's get into that. So once you are there, let's do it step by step. First create a Python virtual environment. Done. I'm going to activate the environment. Now I'm going to open VS Code here because life becomes easier. Because I can create files. So the first next step here is to create a requirement.txt file. Just click on our file, requirements.txt, and then just copy and paste that. I think you can click here. paste, all the save, close. So let's see next step. Install Django or all the requirements. And then that's why I have pip install requirements.txt. So and open a terminal, which is this and that. And then that's going to install all the dependencies, including Django, all the open API that I need. So I don't think that should be a problem, but let's do it. Cool. Now I'm gonna start a new Django project. So that's the command. This is not a Django tutorial. So Django comes with lots of boilerplate code. So this Django chatbot project was created. So with lots of boilerplate code. And then I have to, we'll have to change some files here, and I'm gonna walk you through. So next step, you cd into the chatbot project, because there is a file here called manage.py, which we're gonna call it. So to create a application. So Django works like there is the project, and then within the project you can have many applications. So let's say if you're writing your website, you may have an application that looks after uh, authentication, and then the other one looks after, you know, your product listing if it's a website for sale. So you can kind of like segregate into different applications and then make it more extensible. In our case, just like one application called chatbot app. So, and then it's gonna create another folders you'll see here. And you see chatbot app. So that's the application, that's the project, which is common. You can have many applications, and then you can have like a project it's the common part that applications share. So first thing we need to add chat app to installed apps. So you can copy that, but let's go. It's in the settings file. Just make it bigger. You can read. And then can you see install apps? You just add another one called chat. Oops. ChatGPT's already helped me. Chatbot app. Save it. And chatbot app. Next step. So you have to create like a just to don't checking things on your GitHub. So I'm having all my environment variables managed into a .env file. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm just gonna create a .env file, and then you just copy that, and then you paste, and then this you're gonna get from your Azure or your OpenAPI key. So I'm just gonna probably cut this part of the video because I'm not going to share with you my API key. So in Azure, it stays on here. Okay, you go to your instance of your OpenAPI service endpoint as well. If all lowercase, yeah. I think it's the deployment name, not the model name. I'll find out later if it doesn't work, and then I change. So add the environment variables in settings. So it's a bit tricky here. So this part here at the top, here, just after public, and all the rest needs to be below the base there because I'm going to use that variable. So otherwise it's not going to work. I think the env should be on top of, doesn't matter. So what's doing here, it's this part of the code is reading that .env file and then putting into those environment variables in your Django application, because the views of your application will have to have access to those environment variables. All right, let's go to the next step. Let's create a model. So you need to have like a model to your ORM, or object relational model, to talk to your database. So I'm having a small model here to record the user and the bot messages, and save that into a SQLite database. So for that, you go to chatbot app models.py file, which is this one, and you can just copy on top of it, save. Next step, let's do a migration of the database. Paste that. Something went wrong. Let me see. Oh yeah, I think the env.env file should be inside the chatbot project, and then I think it should work now, because it wasn't finding on the context. So let me just close this one. Yeah, now it worked, because the reason was because this env file should be inside the chatbot project. So let's continue. Took me a while to figure out that. Let's go back. I'm gonna migrating the models and all these are all things from the Django backend, so that migrates as well, like system tables, like the admin part of it. So let's go to the next step, which is create views to manage the chat messages in chatbot app views. So let's go to the chatbot app, and then goes to views, and then you can just completely replace that with this content here. And so just quickly running you through the views. I'm importing Azure OpenAPI to the API calls. So pretty much I have one view that renders HTML that I'm gonna show you later. And then I have one endpoint here that adds a conversation. So I'm using partials, which is kind of like inject HTML inside of HTML and then pass the message. And here's where I get the API, and also I get from the database whatever has been recorded. And then I send back to the API the context of the conversation. I have one endpoint to clear the chat, clear the database, and then start over again. And then I have a function just to get the response from AI. So this is to send another user input. It's just a function to call the API. And then here I pass the API key. And then I make sure that I put in the format that the API key wants it. So this get out message from the database. And that's it. That's my application. So let's go to the next step, which is the front end is based on Bootstrap. I have a chatbot templates. I need to create this in the chatbot folder, chatbot app folder. So I go here and I create a new folder called template. Is it S? Yeah, it's with S. So templates, and then within templates I do a file called base.html, and then that is this content here. So that's just like pretty much I'm gonna import all the CDN and the CSS here on top that I'm gonna apply to the page just to look nicer, and then pretty much have a navbar at the top, and then I have a small piece of JavaScript just to clear the input box, and that's pretty much it. And then I have to add the rest of the HTML, which is create, this is the form. I'm gonna create that into chat. I call it chat.html. Just paste it, save. And then there is one last one that I'm gonna put inside a folder called partials, just to organize the code better. Is that with yeah, S, and then I'm gonna call underscore chatbox. That's the, when you have a conversation, you just inject that new chat box inside. And the content, which is that one. And then I have, if you understand Bootstrap, like it injects all the CSS classes and also the Bootstrap classes. And I'm using Jinja template here to loop for the message and render that into the UI. All right, we're almost there. So we need to do our URLs into the chatbot app. Don't confuse because there is two URL files. There is this on the project that we're gonna do just after that. But you have to create a URL path here. I think it's urls.py. I think it's with L and S. So copy this and paste. Then you're gonna have to have a on your chatbot project, like on the main project. So I'm gonna go here, and then you can just copy, paste. This is the CSS to do some effects. I'm still not haven't figured out how to do it, but I use ChatGPT to help me here, just to create that typewriter effect when you receive a response from the chat. So let's copy this. This needs to be in a folder called static CSS style CSS, and that's gonna be on the main project. Okay, that's a little bit different. So on the main project, not this one, the one on top. Oops, not a file, it's a folder called static. Oops, lowercase. And then a folder called CSS. And then a file called style CSS. And then within that style CSS, just paste that. And then we are almost done. Oops. And yeah, so we are ready to test. Let's run the server. If everything is correct, it should work now. Yes, it's working. I'm not gonna put open browse. I'm just gonna copy this and then open. There we go. OpenAI chat call home. Hello, I'm a chatbot. Now, how can I help you today? And I say, hi, what is the highest mountain? Yeah, hi. The highest mountain on the world is Mount Everest. I think the CSS is not working for some reason. What is the president of the US in 1934? Yeah, Frank Delano Roosevelt. All right, guys, that's it for today. And then before I say that, you can clear the chat and start over again. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, put on the comment below and like the video. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and click the bell to receive notifications when there are new videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.